This is Tyler Brooks from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. This is a regular meeting, so your camera and microphones are able to be turned on and off at your disposal. I went ahead and just muted everybody right off the bat so that we keep a nice, clean audio line here. I'll be joined today by a couple of presenters and contributors. A familiar face to all here, Gary Baumgartner is joining us from Florida, as we will be continuing use of Baum's page for everything that we largely used it for in the past. And then we also have Doyle Heisler from I Wanna Maker. They're the proprietor of this platform and created the app that our schools are using currently. Again, this is a regular meeting, so you are able to ask questions. You can raise your hand if you're familiar with Microsoft Teams. You can enter questions in the chat if you prefer. I just dropped a message into the chat here, so if you can see that on your screen. But we're going to go over a few things. You can ask questions all along the way. I've actually got this meeting being recorded. So once we wrap it up, I'll get it uploaded to YouTube, and we'll send it out to all tournament managers as kind of a reference point. But this is the second of two meetings. We did our first one last night. I was excited to hear the questions and the interest in it. And then also, as I mentioned last night, as I see a few returning faces, we may find a few potholes that we need to fill in the road. We still got about 6 weeks to do that. So this is a good time to I guess, learn right here today, and then jump in, make your profile, start tracking it, start looking at it, start looking at your event settings, and start asking Doyle and I questions. We are the 15th state to join I Wanna Maker's platform. And with that being said, I'm confident that there's nothing that we encounter in our OHSAA tournament that hasn't been encountered in Florida, Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, etc. So transition and change can be difficult temporarily, but I am confident that this platform is worth the effort of transition because it provides things that didn't previously exist in our OHSAA golf community. And so we can get more into that as you see the system a little bit. So as you probably saw in the email last week, I think it was Tuesday, we announced the OHSAA Golf App to the schools, and then forwarded that message from the secretaries, asking them to send it to all the tournament managers. And what that is really just what it sounds like. It's a live scoring platform at its core, and it's available to all golfers, schools, media, tournament managers at no cost. The courses don't have to sign up. There's no, does this course have Golf Genius? Does this have Birdie Fire? There's no jumping back and forth between platforms. This is available to everybody from day one at no cost. The only cost is to the spectators or whoever wants to follow the live scoring. There's a regular season pass, and then there's a tournament series pass. And all this information was sent with the announcement of the golf app to the schools and said, share this document with their parents. And we can drop that into the chat here later on. A couple questions that came up, so what if I buy a pass for the regular season or the tournament? Does that mean I just get to watch my one player? And no, whenever you purchase a pass, you either see all the regular season, you see all the tournament, every sectional, district, state tournament, every golfer and team, or every regular season event as what is going on right now. If you haven't seen it, it's really, really neat. We'll go through the process of registering. We'll go through the different settings that are available to you from a scoring perspective. We'll go into adding. Sorry, letting somebody in the meeting here. We'll go through adding teams to your event. We'll go over exporting that information and importing it into Baum's page. And then we'll go over some FAQ type things. But again, feel free to ask questions along the way. If it's something we think we're going to get to, we'll just say, hold on for a sec. We're going to touch on that in just a minute. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Doyle Heisler from I Wanna Maker, and I'll let him get us started.
All right. Thank you, Tyler. and welcome, coaches. I'm going to take a little different approach this morning, Tyler. I'm going to actually start with the end, the reason we're doing all this, right? And then I'll go back through and show how you'll be able to accomplish that by, setting up the tournament. So the first thing I'm going to do is, well, actually before that, I'm going to do a little bit of navigation first. So at first I'm going to sign out here. So I'm signed in as support@iwantamaker.com. I'm going to log out. What you'll find is that when you go to iwantamaker.com, you'll land on this page. And as Tyler said, there are different types of users on the system. Either you're going to be what we typically see. There's probably others too, but you typically see an administrator of a school, an athletic director, for example, a coach, a golfer at a high school, and then you have all the administrators at the OHSAA. You have a guy like Gary Baumgartner. So these are all, we have to put them into the system and identify them as a specific user type. Okay. And if you are not one of those, then we're going to put you in as a league administrator, meaning you just help with tournaments, postseason tournaments. And so if you are one of those type, then what you'll need to do is go to iwantamaker.com and just click register, and you'll just be asked for your name, email, and password. And then you'll register. After you do that, then email support@iwantamaker.com, and I'll show you it's as it sounds, support@iwantamaker.com. And I'm going to show you in a second here how you can access the help menu. So then you can understand you can find the phone number, and you can also find the email address that you can send the email to. So if you sign in and you go to help, you're going to go to support@iwantamaker.com for the email. So you can send email support questions here, or you can call us and we will pick up the phone. If not, we'll get right back to you. So after you've registered, send an email to support@iwantamaker.com saying, please add me as a league administrator for the Ohio High School Athletic Association, league within iWantamaker. So I'm going to explain about the navigation of the system. As Tyler said, we have many state associations that use us. Ohio happens to be the 15th one. So when you come in, when you click on leagues within iWantamaker are junior golf leagues. They're high school associations. They are, here's a coaches association of Arizona that has a league within here. And so that's how we're configured, right? To navigate to a league, you click on the Ohio High School Athletic Association. And when you get into here, then that's where all the events are. That's where all the schools are. So what we do is we pre-build. This has all been built. All the schools already are in the system with their logo. And if their logo is wrong, we can change that. We did our best to snag the correct logo, but sometimes schools change their logo and they want it changed. They can change it themselves, or we can change it for them. Just know that if anyone has that question, that can be done. That's the schools. Here's where all the athletic directors sit. And so athletic directors, the list continues to grow. If you're an athletic director at a school, you get free access. And you as a coach, free access to all the events, all the rankings. Golfers, free access. Media members, free access. So the people that if they want to follow live and they're a spectator or a parent, they buy a pass, as Tyler said. Here's the list of coaches across the state. It's really starting to spread. There's over 300 coaches right now for the boys on the boys side, and there are, I think, 254 girls coaches across the state. And as the season goes on, you'll continue to see this build. The number of golfers that are registered is over 1,000, and that's on the boys side. And on the girls side, there are 744. Now, what will happen is you will end up actually importing these golfers into your event. So the key is and that's the message that is out there now, is that you get the app. Coaches get the athletic directors get the app, coaches get the app. and golfers get the app. What's the app? The app is the OHSAA Golf App. It's in the App Store. You get the app. A golfer gets it within 20 seconds. They have that. They put themselves on their team roster. And then the concept is as after the roster is populated, then what happens is we import. You will import, as will other coaches, import those players into events throughout the season, including the postseason. Okay, so I'm going to jump into. I'm going to show you for example, if I go to rosters here, I'm going to look at Marysville, right? And so I can switch after I bring this up. I can switch to D1, okay, and then I can switch to the Central District, and then I can get to Marysville, right? So I can go down here and I can expand on this, and I can see that this coach has done a fantastic job. Every one of it looks like a complete roster. The only one that doesn't have the app yet is this Jonathan Cusack. Not sure why, but they could contact us and we could help resolve that if Jonathan actually did get the app and there's an issue. Okay. This iSwoosh means that the user has the app, they have an account, and they've connected that account to this roster entry. This roster entry is the one that will get imported into an event. Okay. So that's how the system is built, right? And so when you navigate throughout the system, when you go to events, for example, I can go to upcoming events, and I can go to the bottom, and you'll see that all of the sectional and regional events, sectional and district events are created. Okay, and if I go to the next page, I can see that even the state championships are created. Okay, so you as a league administrator will be able to edit these events, and that will be what you do. You'll come in, you'll edit the event, and you'll configure it and make it ready for live scoring, because all scores will be entered through or on the OHSAA Golf App by whomever you decide to allow to do that scoring. And we'll talk about that secure scoring piece in a little bit here. Okay, so a little bit more about this system. So let's go. This is an event. I just have two tabs open here, and this is an event that was run on August 9th. It was scored live, and so this is what it looks like. This is the team leaderboard. So to switch between the team leaderboard and the individual, you just click change. You switch to individual, and now you have an individual leaderboard. If you want to see a scorecard, and this is valid on the website or on the OHSAA Golf App. You can do all of this on the app. And by the way, after you get registered as a league administrator, and then I get you added as a league administrator, after you register on iwantamaker.com and I add you as a league administrator, then you'll be able to go get the OHSAA Golf App and use it like anyone else. You will not have to buy a pass because you are a league administrator and you won't be required to buy a pass.
And Doyle, I want to interject on that. Once you have your profile created and you're added as an administrator, the vast majority of our tournament managers are not active school coaches. So most of you have probably not seen this side of the app. So two things come to mind. We'll try to continually reinforce which things are really best suited to be done on your laptop or desktop computer. You know, if you're creating an event or managing an event settings, you're probably better off to do that on a laptop or desktop computer so you can see all the functionality. But you'll also see that once you download the app, if you have a smartphone or a tablet computer, that it's a more, like an app. It doesn't have quite as many of the settings and informational tabs and things like that. So just wanted to clarify that came up a few times last night. Am I going to do this on the web or am I going to do this on the app? And so generally speaking, if you're editing or managing an event, you're better to do it from a laptop. And then another point to make is if you organize any regular season events, you can also do these as well. So if you do an invitational on September 1st every year, you can create that event in here once you create your profile. Just wanted to interject that, Doyle.
Yep, good. That's good. Thank you, Tyler. That was, those types of things are very helpful. So as you can see, you see this leaderboard, right? And I'm gonna bring up another one here that and as I click on these players, you can see their scorecard, right? So I'm gonna duplicate this tab and I'm gonna go and create. I'm gonna bring up another event here that was run, and I'm going to switch that leader to the individual gross because I want to show you. Okay, so you can see on this and the system is built to make it very easy for golfers to score. That was the whole idea, is to be able to allow golfers, per the USGA rulebook, the scorecard now can be electronic or paper. In 2019, that rule was put into place at the USGA. So you can have electronic scorecard, but you know the rule of having a marker still applies, right? You don't keep your own score. So the system is designed to allow golfers to mark for each other on the app. To see how that works, I recommend click on help and watch this video right here. Scorecard exchange with hole by hole attest and locking. This is a feature that has really it really fits well with so many state associations because it follows the rules of the USGA and it allows for golfers to enter scores hole by hole, and for parents and fans to follow live and really take golf to that next level of being able to say, wow, I know exactly where my team stands. I know exactly where the players stand. And so as long as everyone's scoring, it works, right? And it has since we've been doing this in 2013 when we started. So we're going almost 10 years now of being able to supply this type of a tool to state associations. Okay, so now I'm going to go to this event here. And in this event here, if I click on this scorecard, right, you'll see at the bottom here, the scorer was Adeline Ricker and attested by Meadow Tian. So that's the concept, right? So the golfers score for each other if you set it that way, right? And you have options to not set it that way too. But if you do set it that way, set the event up that way, where you're exchanging scorecards. They score for each other after each hole. At the end of the event, they go to the scores table. If there's any changes that need to be made, they can be made by you, the manager, because you can always override scores. And then they sign their scorecard. And this one was attested by Meadow. So at the end of this event, it was attested, and now that scorecard and that golfer has completed their duties of being a marker or participating in the event. They were a marker and a golfer, so it all worked out. This particular scorecard here, if I click on one of these people, I can see that they did not sign their scorecard, right? But the scorer they still exchanged their scorecard, just that they probably weren't told that, hey, you should go sign your scorecard, touch your name and sign your scorecard. So that's kind of the end game, right? That's what you guys are going to see as your tournaments unfold. So one of the things I didn't show last night that I want to show tonight is if you want, and you want to be able to put this up on a large screen, many state associations do this. They bring this up on a large format television or on an overhead projector. And so this will scroll as the tournament goes on. Every time it gets to the end of the scroll, it resets and goes back up and continues to scroll. Okay, and then it'll go and it'll flip over. I'm not going to bore you with letting it scrolls here, but I'm going to jump over. Once it gets done with the individual, it'll go through the team, and once it gets done with the team, it'll go back to the individuals, and it'll just continue to update. Okay, there will be more information for a state tournament that'll have round 1, round 2. So it's just a wealth of information here. Okay, so that's the scoreboard. I forgot to mention that last night. So hopefully people will watch both these videos and be able to catch that as well. But it's not too hard. It's sitting right here. You just click on scoreboard. Actually, it's right here, display scoreboard too. So you got it all over the place. So, and after you're done, okay, after you're completely done with your event, and I'm going to show you how to set the event up too. But right now, I want to show you this part here where we're going to get this information to Gary, to Baum's page. And all you have to do is up here, we made it easy for you to be able to just, instead of node, the word node, in every event, is all structured like this. If you go to the event leaderboard, it's structured like this. And so just type in bombs page, BP, just BP dash export. Okay. So if you type in BP dash export, then what will happen is an Excel document will be downloaded to your computer with all the scores and information that you need to be able to upload to Gary. Okay, so I'm going to quickly flip over to that. So let me stop sharing this one. And then I'm going to share the Excel spreadsheet. So this is what the spreadsheet will look like. And this is exactly the format that Gary asked for. So it makes it very easy for him to be able to import this into Bombs page. Okay, it's got all the information that he needs, front, back, total. It has the seed of the player. It has the school numbers here. So everything will import nicely into Bombs page. Okay, so that is, like I said, that's kind of like looking at this at the end game. So that I think right now I'm going to go ahead like I did last night and pause and allow you guys to ask any questions that you might have at this point.
Yeah, and before the first question, I'll just pause to say we'll go into more detail on the scoring settings that are available to the tournament managers. We're going to have it at a default setting for you. And then as you learn about it over the next 6 weeks and get feedback from your schools, you may choose to change to a different setting, and we can help you with that. It really is kind of in 3 tiers. The most secure with the scorecard exchange really makes the app the official scorecard, and then printed scorecards are not needed at that point. The other 2 settings are less secure and would still necessitate scorecards being printed and used. So which setting we go with is just going to depend on your comfort level and the comfort of your teams at your sectional or district tournament.
So I'm going to use these. That's great, Tyler. Thank you. I'm going to use these as examples. Okay, so I'm going to save an exit here. So I did something and didn't really explain what I was doing. So with your event, when you get to your event, okay, you're going to edit the event. And this one here, when I edit this event, you'll see that on the very first page, the details page, you have the ability to, and the naming of the events should not be changed. That was the selected or set up, or we were instructed by Tyler to say, here's the naming convention I want to use, right? And that's this convention right here. Okay, so please do not change that part of on the details. Leave that the way it is. You can easily change the date and time. If you have to change the time, right there it is. You just change that and you're good to go there. You won't need to change the gender of the event, whether it's a tournament or practice. Obviously, it's a tournament. It's a varsity. But you will, as Tyler pointed out, you will right here. These are the settings that you might be changing. You might set differently than what this one is. This one has decided to use secure scoring. That will be on no matter what. Okay, so every event will be secure scored, meaning that not just anyone can come in and put scores in. Only people who have been approved to put scores in. So that's the secure scoring piece. This is the big one that you're going to have to decide on, whether to allow only golfers and managers, or to allow golfers, coaches, and then a walking scorer, a parent, someone who's on the course who has asked to be a scorer and then has been allowed or denied the request. And you can see on this, what I'm showing here, as you hover over that question mark, it explains it right here. Okay, so you can see that when it's set to, if I set it here over to this one, then what happens is an email when a parent or anyone who arrives at an event, they'll see a button says, I want to be a scorer. And if they touch that, an email is sent to every manager in the event. And in that email, it just basically says this person wants to be a scorer. And then you have to either allow or deny that request. So that allows you to control who can score for that event. Okay, so this one was set this way, so I'm not going to mess with their event. In this mode, you can also choose to score. You can exchange scorecards. So if you want to exchange scorecards, obviously the golfers have to be the scorers, right? And then you say, I'm going to exchange scorecards. I'm going to follow the USGA rulebook, right? And this is our digital scorecard. So you say yes to exchanging scorecards. All right. So when you say that, then each golfer will be assigned as a marker for another golfer in their group. Okay. If I say no to that, then one golfer in the group can score for all of the golfers in the group. And it can be any one of those golfers. They can even switch halfway through. You're keeping the front nine, I'm keeping the back. You keep the first six, I'll keep the next six, and you keep the next six. It's very flexible in this mode. But if you choose that mode, just understand that if one kid's doing it, it's going to put a burden on that one golfer, right? So to share the burden, we were asked by coaches throughout the United States to say, hey, let's do this the way the USGA rulebook is written. We want golfers to score for each other. And that's why we added the exchange of scorecards. That part was added later. Okay. This piece here is a feature that we added based on feedback from coaches. A lot of the system, guys, was all built based on feedback from coaches across the United States. And so this feature was asked for by coaches in Illinois. They said, you know what? Love the scorecard exchange. Love the fact that we got markers marking for other people. But what's to stop a marker from changing a score on hole 4 when they're sitting on hole 16? And I said, well, nothing right now. Just, I'd have to, we err on the side of honesty in that the golfer, the marker wouldn't do that. But we know that there are some golfers out there who might have the for whatever reason, want to go back and change a score. And so we add this feature. So when this feature is set to yes, and a marker puts a score in. So let's say that I'm scoring for Tyler. Tyler says, Doyle, I had a 4 on hole number 1. I put it in. And then Tyler sees a pop-up on his phone says, Doyle, your marker, Doyle, entered a 4 in for you in hole number 1. And then Tyler has the option to either attest that score or say, no, it's not right. And then Tyler and I work it out until we get it right. And when Tyler says, yes, I attest that score, it's locked. We get to hole 5. Tyler, I can't go back and change that score that I put in for him or whatever he put in. So bottom line is that once it's attested after that hole, it's locked. Managers can always change scores. Always, 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 right? Either on the app or on the back end. And so this is how this event is done. I'm going to exit out of here and I'm going to show you how that's done, because that's always a question. Like, how do I change a score, right? And so when you go to the event leaderboard, right? This is the event leaderboard. You can click on edit results and I can go to a pairing and I can change a score. All right. So scores are all going to be entered on the app. So all you're going to have to do is potentially change a score. After you change a score, you just click and you change it. You click save to the cloud. Okay. The locking feature here, what's that about? Well, that is a feature that was added for stroke play events that are set to standard, starting at different times. You get a pairing comes in, they sit down, you resolve it, everything is good. Now, how do you make sure that that's locked? You click lock. Now that means that no one on the app can change these scores. No one, right? So that's a process that we put in years ago. Now, what this also does, the system is designed, is that if you get a group that comes in and you're using exchange scorecards, and that golfer signs their scorecard, it locks it automatically. So this one here, I'm guessing that it was locked either because the coach or manager did this, clicked this, or because it got signed. Adeline Richter actually signed her scorecard, because that's part of the process. So once she says, yep, these are my scores, and she signs it, not only does it sign and stamp the date and all that on the scorecard, both on the app and in the web, it locks it too, right, for the whole round. So we can lock them hole by hole, and we can lock the whole scorecard as well. It's a very sophisticated system, but I'll tell you that we've never had a question from a golfer on how to do this. They just, as you know, they're smart as ever on these smartphones, and they're really good, and they just do it, right? It's very simple for them. Okay, so that's how you can change it. Now you can also look at an entire team. and see. So right here, I'm not sure. Oh, they withdrew. So I'm glad I showed this. So if you have a golfer who withdraws, you can either do this on the app or here. So they just said, oh, he withdrew, and or she did. And so I just mark them as withdrawal, save it to the cloud. And now if you're doing exchange of scorecards, right, whoever Audrey was scoring for, that group, that pairing got shuffled. And now someone else is assigned to score for her because she withdrew. Okay, so system is built to handle those situations. Even if you DQ someone for whatever reason, then and as soon as you mark it as DQ and save it, then the assignments of markers is automatically taken care of right when that happens. Okay, so that is scoring, right? Scoring on the app, and for you to be able to manage scores on the app as a manager. Every manager that is listed for an event, if I go into and edit this event and I go to the people manager step, any one of the people here, all these people, all these managers, all these coaches, when they go to the event, they see on the event home, when they touch on the event, they see a button that says manager overrides or edit results. And when they touch on that, then they go into the next thing where they, and by the way, they're warned that any changes are logged. The system logs all changes in the app. So if someone changes a score, a manager changes a score, and they weren't supposed to, well, you have the ability to go back and look at the event log, and you'll see that, oh, why'd you change that score? You know, so they have to be able to answer that because it's documented, and they're warned that it will be documented. So after you say, yes, I understand that this will be logged, any changes I make, then they have the ability to change a score for a player, a seed, or the eligibility. Those are the three things that you could do in the app. Just like I showed you how you could change a score, the seed, or the eligibility on the back end, on the web, right? So it's available both on the app and on the web, okay? And that's all the people in here that see that. Okay, so now at this point, what I want to do, I showed you, we talked about the secure scoring, right? And this event here is set to no secure scoring. Okay, so that's just what they decided to do. All right, so let me back out of here, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into one of your events and show how the pairings were done. And I might come back and refer to this here because I'm not going to be able to set up the exact event the way it was, the way it will be. And I may pick the wrong event. I may put teams into the wrong section. Just I'm just going to show how it's done, and then I'm going to clean up the event when it is done. Okay. So I'm going to do I'm going to pick a D1, okay, event here, and I'm just going to go control. Actually, I want to show, before I do that, I want to take you and show you something else too. So this is the Ohio League, right? If I want to see all the events that are district, section, and state championships, I can actually go to the OHSAA as a school because they host events. The events for them are listed here as well. So on the first page is the 100 section and district tournaments. Okay. If I go to page 2, are the 5 state championships. Okay, so that the pages will continue to build as the season goes on. Okay, so these are already done. You don't have to worry about building these events. The events are created for you. The naming has been chosen, so please leave the naming the way it is. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the D1 dash Central. Okay, so here's D1 Central, right? So I can go to the next D1 Central. I have no idea whether, but I'm going to edit this event. Let's just say this is my event, and I'm going to go in and edit it. So that's that, and I'm going to set my settings here. Once I'm done with that, I move on to the next step. Your golf course has already been loaded, but it's a good idea to check it, especially if it's a club that has multiple courses, okay? So if you click up here and you go to Ohio, that's what we did for you, is we went in and we made sure that the clubs, that the courses were all loaded. But there are situations, as you know, there might be multiple courses at one club. So you're going to have to, if that happens, then you can remove this one and put the other course in. Or you can just add it and not use it, right? You can have as many courses that you want in an event. What's important is what you assign to the golfers on the round step. Okay, so that's a bit about courses. If you need to edit the course for whatever reason, you can do that. Just click on the course, edit course, and you can change the yardages right here to make them match what you want it to be at the event. Double check and make sure the pars are right. And so that's the score. That's the courses piece. So you can do that now, right? Once you get set up as a league administrator, you go in and do these things because at this point you won't be able to bring in the golfers yet because they have to all get registered, right? So that's the key now, is to get all the coaches to get their rosters complete, right? So that you can import the players. Now you can see this event doesn't have any managers, coaches, or golfers yet because we haven't brought the teams in. So on the team step, and that's where you're going to focus next, is to bring the teams into the event. You can do that now, right? Because you're going to bring the golfers in later. So let's say that I'm going to bring, please, I could be completely off that the teams that I pick here, but I'm just going to go ahead and pick teams from an event that Marysville event, right? So that was an event that I can pull from. So I'm going to do D1, and I'm going to do the district as Central. Okay, and I'm going to go down and pull Marysville in here because I looked at that one before and I know there's golfers on that roster. Let's go ahead and do Grove City as well. So I'm just going to bring a couple in, right? Because you'll be able to pick all the ones because you'll know which ones to bring into each event. Once those schools, and by the way, do not remove the OHSAA as a team. That's there because that allows us to build an archive under the OHSAA entity, under the schools, and we tag all those events that are hosted by the OHSAA. Okay, so Arizona, for example, has 8 years of data now for all of the events, postseason events, and it's very easy to navigate to find any one of those events. So leave that one there. Once you get your school imported, if the logo happens to be wrong, you can change it here. We just copied the logo from the school, right? That's what we did there. So now I can add golfers. And this is what either you or coaches, or if you tell the coaches to go do this, then they'll go do it, right? So you got to have these golfers imported because you might not know the seed. So I'm gonna sort on seed here, and so let's say that I'm gonna pick these, but I don't see a number 6. But let's say that Clay is my number 6, so I'm gonna bring them in. Now I can change the seeds later, right? So once they're imported, now they're in the event, and now I'm going to be able to edit their seeds. And so let's say that make it real simple. Let's just say Clay is the number 6. So I'm going to set that to number 6. So I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'm done. Okay, and then once that's done, and the system is built to either have a single manager do all the importing of players and teams, or to just say, coaches, I want you to go in and do it. Right? Because you know your players, you know who's come, who you're bringing. And so then they can go in and do it. So this one here, I'm going to click, I'm just going to take, this is beautiful because they've got them all seated nicely here. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So import that. Okay. So once all the players are in the event, okay, the next step is to go to the round step and add a round. All right. Every event has to have a round, and that's where you specify who's playing with who, how many scores to count out of how many golfers. It's a standard start. We're starting on holes 1 and 10. It's an 18-hole, and we're playing from the blue tees. Okay, so I changed the tee there. I add 10 pairings, and now I set up my pairings. So you see what happened here. 1 and 10, 1 and 10 at 9, 1 and 10 at 10, and now if I made a mistake, oh shoot, it's a 9-minute interval. I can just go in and delete these pairings, right? And I can change this to 9, and then I can go ahead and do 10 pairings again. Okay, and you can see now it's 9-minute intervals. All right, so now let's go ahead and add some. So these can all be changed, by the way. Anything that's of this color can be clicked and changed. Okay, so now I'm going to add golfers to this pairing. So I'm going to sort on seed, and I'm going to take the number 1s and 2s. And I know there's some players from the same team here, but you'll know that when I sort on the seeds that you're going to pick from, all 4 from different groups and do your waves and whatnot. So then let's say that well, let's go ahead and put someone off of number 10 here. We'll do the 3s and 4s off of 10, and then we'll do the next ones off of here. Okay, this is how simple it is. And let's say that, so there we go. If I want to swap a player, I just put them back into the pool, and then I can put them in somewhere else. Okay, so that's how simple it is to do the pairings. Once the pairings are all set, you click next, and just walk your way through. It's left to right. Just walk your way through. What I can do now is I can also go over here and show that managers were automatically brought in. So the managers of these events were the coaches, right? These lists are both the same. And the reason that they're both here, I'm going to talk about this for a minute, is that you will probably want to limit who can manage the events. And so, but you're also going to want to message them, the ability to message them. This is a full up communication tool as well as event management. So if I wanted to message these coaches, I would just click this and say, send message to selected. Compose my message. We have some templates here. Like I can send the pairings out, for example. I can change this, and I can type in whatever I want to type in here and send the message out. Okay, and so you can use this as a communication tool. But the reason we have managers and coaches is that you might want to trim down your managers list, but leave all the coaches in because you want to be able to communicate with them. That's the reason for the managers and coaches. Every single coach for each of the teams that you import will be added to both of these lists. So just be aware of that. Okay. And now, if I wanted to make this event to have scorers come in, so let's say that I decide to go with this option right here. Okay. So now I'm going to have managers, coaches, golfers, and scorers. It's what I decide to do. As Tyler said, that's an option you have. So once I save that, what you're going to notice here, and I have to do a quick refresh here to be able to get the page to refresh, because now I've got this scorers tab. This scorers tab under people will get populated with people who you allow to be a scorer. Remember I told you about, I want to be a scorer, that button, I want to be, you're going to get hammered with those emails, because guarantee you, parents are going to want to get a free pass, because anyone who's a scorer gets a free ticket, right? So they're going to want to touch that I want to be a scorer thing. Well, you may have to deny them because you've got your set scorers, right? So just be aware of this option. There's some extra work to be done on your part, because you will be getting emails that you're going to have to make decisions about if you choose to allow that. If you choose to say, no, I don't want the golfers and managers doing the scoring, I want the other, right? And that's what's going to happen. The officials, I didn't talk about this last night, so I'm going to talk about it now. You can add officials. So the concept is like this. Tell the official to go get the app and just choose spectator, parent or spectator, okay? And then you can add them here. And now they'll be designated as the official for the event. What happens? What makes them special? So on the app, there's the ability to ask for a ruling. Let's say that there's a group out on hole number 5 and they're having a problem. Something happened. They need an official. So they can touch the button, need an official ruling, and they send the message. It'll be sent to all of the officials and the managers, either via text, if that person has set up text messaging, or an email will be sent to those people saying that group number whatever, Tyler Brooks needs a ruling on hole number 6. And so then you take and you go out there and you help resolve their differences. That's what an official can do. And Tyler, it's good to know that, because when you get to state, I'm sure you're going to use that feature. You're going to have officials at each one of your state championships. You're going to have to tell them this is how we do this, and they're going to have to be ready to respond to any of those official ruling requests. And the reason we did it with text messaging is because we know you're going to want to jump on that like right away. Okay. So Tyler, I'm going to pause for a second. Do you have anything to jump in? Any questions, comments?
I do want to jump in, and we'll also pause for questions and comments. One thing I dropped into the chat. Well, I dropped several things into the chat. So if you haven't located that yet, please click around in the Teams meeting. There's some helpful links, just some examples and some instructions that we've gone over so far. But one thing that I typed in there that we haven't said verbally, if you have like an assistant tournament manager that has assisted you with your tech duties, things on Bomb's page, whatever, just let us know who those individuals are, and we can get them added as tournament managers as well. And we'll have them assist you with, any duties as needed, and I want a maker. So just send those to me. We'll add them to my email list. I'll be sending, regular informational updates between now and the tournament. So just wanted to put that out there. At that point, we will pause for questions. I know we covered a lot, and it can be kind of overwhelming, but that will probably be the value of the recording and hearing some of this more than once.
Hey, can Tilton talk again?
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay. This is my 43rd year, so I've just seen so much stuff. And this is for you, Tyler. We have, or you have, in the rules that people can't use their phones, and now you'll have to change that. You probably already did. But you get that this opens up, especially with the girls, the dad is going to text his daughter and tell her to change her swing. It opens up. You could tell the other players what club to use on a par 3 and stuff like that. So as a tournament manager, you have to address, you just have to overlook if that kind of stuff's going on, because everybody has access to a phone, especially those dads with their kid who's playing. So that's one thing. So think about that. The second thing is, I used to run the tournaments when you didn't have to pay to get in, and I always thought you should pay to get in. You pay to get in every event, every high school sporting event. Why not pay to get in golf? But I see tension happening when somebody pays to get in the event and then also has to pay to see what the score is. It's like if you go to a football game, you know what the score is because you paid to get in. So I'm worried about the tension of that. Is there any chance that when you get to tournaments, well, two things. If you pay for the regular season, can that carry over to tournaments and those people don't have to pay again? Or when you pay to get into the tournament, can your admission cost also include access to what the score is? Have you thought about those? Otherwise, I, as manager, am going to be criticized for double charging people who are trying to attend the event. Okay, thanks for listening to this.
Hey, Tim. No, great points. I'm going to try to answer in sequence. So I'm going to go back to your first question. Yes, there was a change to our golf regulations. And I can even forward you all the OHSA golf regulations and some of my email updates that have gone out to the golf schools this season. But we now have a cell phone policy that outlines 4 specific reasons that golfers can use their cell phones. Yes, with this policy and prior to this policy, any golfer that wants to do something that's impermissible, they've had that opportunity for quite some time because smartwatches were already approved. And what I think a lot of coaches and people didn't realize was that smartwatches were just as capable as phones. They could talk, they could text, they could do calls, they could get yardage and things like that. So yes, the cell phone policy has been revised. because these e-scoring or electronic scoring, live scoring events used to be on permission basis only. And then strangely, we expected kids to flip open their cell phone and do it at state. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. So we've got this model here to let them get comfortable with the system during the regular season. And for the long term, this isn't a one-off year type thing. So that is under consideration, but just like, using a distance measuring device and having access to a non-permitted function like slope, this is a game of integrity. So if people aren't going to have high integrity, then they're probably not going to have high integrity and use the foot wedge when they're off in the rough to get a bad shot. So yes, ultimately kids can do things that they shouldn't do. I think as always, we got to rely on coaching and integrity in this game. Secondly, on the tournament pass, I have heard that from a couple tournament managers here in the last couple of days, is that they feel like they're going to catch the brunt or the ire of the attendees for something that they had to pay to view the live scoring. So that is a change. And if your course had Golf Genius or Birdie Fire and that information was previously accessible at no cost, that is going to be a change. You can still have a live leaderboard at your clubhouse, through wherever you want to at the course with that scoreboard function. Wherever you've got an internet connection, you can blow up that scoreboard from iWannamaker. So if you had Birdie Fire or Golf Genius, yes, this would be a new cost. But the reality is not all of our courses had that. This is better for the state as a whole. So it may feel like a step backwards on some courses, and it's going to be a huge step forward in others. So I will continue to communicate that with the schools and really impress upon them, remind your parents that, if this was previously a sectional where they had a course with Golf Genius and they had free access to live scoring, that will not be the case this year. And so I can try to educate and divert as much of that ire away from you as tournament managers as possible. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be happy, but in my assessment, this will be better for the state as a whole. And not just for those that happen to play at courses with, Golf Genius or Birdie Fire. So I hope everybody can understand that and the big picture. But I'll stop and let other questions, comments, or concerns come forward at this point. Thanks for the thumbs up, Tim.
Okay, Tyler, let me quickly get through the rest of this here, and I can do that in about 5 minutes here. So on the leaderboard step, you can have the ability to break ties automatically, have the system do it. The scores, use scores not included in the team score, that will automatically break it per the rules, the way the OHSA has that lined out. So just set this right here. Minnesota has their own special way of doing it, but Illinois and Ohio do it the same way as many other states do. And it's just use the scores not included in the team score. Will automatically break team ties. This is the standard USGA tiebreaker. The last 9, 6, 3, and 1 holes played. Okay, so you shouldn't have to do anything with that besides maybe change that. You might want to change the default leaderboard, although we think that team is because high school golf is all about the team. We default to the team gross. You could put information right in here. You could put rules in here. You can put links to documents that you might have somewhere else. So create a document, share it to the universe on the web, and put the link right in here. And give it a name, and that way people can access that document that you created somewhere else. So that's one way to do that. You can print out scorecards right here. I could do it by individuals, marker notes at the top. If I click on that, it's going to generate a document, and then that document will open up, and you'll be able to see the scorecards. All the scorecards are branded with the logo of the event, which is the OHSAA. And so you can see that this is a standard paper scorecard as you would expect. Print this out if you want, and now you can hand out scorecards at the first tee. Okay, so that takes care of the scorecard piece. You can print out pairings and that sort of thing here. You can go ahead and play with this stuff as you get your pairings set and you move on as you move through this process. So once you get that part done, then you're basically done. You keep clicking next here, and now you're back at the event leaderboard. I just created this leaderboard. Once the pairings are done, the event is ready to be scored. That's how simple it is. The event is created, add a course, import teams, import golfers onto those teams, set the pairings, event ready to score. That is, you can think of the whole process as that right there. Once that's done, and I've already gone through how the scores are entered and changed and managed throughout the event, how you manage eligibility, disqualifications, withdrawals, and all that sort of thing. All that stuff is done afterwards on either here using edit results or on the app using manager overrides. How to change between leaderboards right here, I can change right there. On the app, I just swipe. I swipe left, I swipe right. How do you get to a scorecard? Click on the player's name, and now I have a scorecard. On the app, touch the player's name on the leaderboard, you get to their scorecard. So that is, and I showed you how to get to scoreboards, right? So I covered everything that I need to cover. If you still want to, and I highly recommend going in here, and if you watch these first 4 videos, you're going to be a pro. Right? Because this shows all of that stuff. Here's how to set up a match in less than 5 minutes. Here's how the coaches will manage rosters. This is an overview of the platform. This is the hole by hole test and locking piece. I even go through rankings, introduction to mobile apps. All these videos are right there at your disposal. And if you're still stuck, call me. I will answer. We will have a conversation, and I will answer any question that you might have. Okay, Tyler, I've covered everything. I know you got a hard stop at 7. It's 7 o'clock here in Mountain Time. But anyway, I think I've covered everything I need to cover here.
Okay, and I'm actually emailing my 9 o'clock. We want to answer every question that's out there right now, and this is more important. Ken Baumgartner asked a question in the chat. I noticed a box on scorecards for fairways hit, putts, etc. Will golfers be entering that as well as scores on holes?
That's optional. It's if they want to, they can. That doesn't have to be done. The only thing that's required is a score.
Okay, I've got one I wanted to touch on when you were showing the text documents and links that you can provide. As I mentioned in an earlier email to everybody, we could still use Bomb's page every which way you've used it in the past. And that includes posting your rule sheets, pairings, things like that. They're going to be in here, but if you're more comfortable with posting that tournament information on Bomb's page, because you know that's where your coaches are used to going, that's totally fine.
I'm just cleaning this event up, guys. I don't want to mess up the person who's managing this event. I don't want to have anything left behind, so I'm just cleaning up. I'm going to remove I removed the golfers from the pairings. I removed the pairings themselves. Now I'm removing the round. I'm just backing my way out of this thing. I'm going to remove all the players from this event. So that's while if you guys have questions, just go ahead and ask. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just cleaning up this event because I know that this is probably completely wrong. Grove City's probably not playing in this sectional. If I got really lucky, maybe they are. I don't know. So anyway.
What other questions, comments, or concerns are out there right now? And I know it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose right now. I understand that. You'll probably think of something as soon as we hop off of here. But, we've got time on our side right now. And I'll send a follow-up email to all tournament managers, get this video uploaded, get some quick action items like getting your profile registered, then just get in there and look and play and click around. You can't hurt anything that can't be fixed, and we've got time to play around. So again, if you have any regular season events, I would encourage you to play around and get it on there. We've got schools that have posted practice rounds and qualifier rounds and tryouts and things like that. You can't hurt anything in here. And so with that, I'll stop talking and pause again for questions, comments, and concerns. Okay. Well, again, this is step one. I hope you guys are ready for a lot of information and education coming from me and Doyle and Gary to an extent. I want to just again thank Doyle and Gary. They have worked tremendously just in the last 8 days to connect these wires and build these bridges between the two platforms is needed to try to make this as easy on you as possible. Obviously, change is never as easy as the status quo, but in my opinion, this will be a big step forward. And that doesn't mean there won't be some bumps in the road. But I think this is a clear step forward for our sport, for our golfers. As you play around in the app and you see that you can look at statewide events and team and player rankings, I just don't think there was anything in this space that really served our community in the way that this will, both this year and in the long term. Again, I'm here to help. Shoot me emails with your concerns. We're going to work through the ones that we can work through, and maybe we'll identify some temporary hurdles for this year, but that's okay because this is going to be better in the long run. So I want to thank you for your time, cutting out some time here on a Friday morning. Hopefully you can still make your tee times on this beautiful Friday here in Ohio or Florida in Gary's case. And just reach out to me, keep the lines of communication open, and I'm looking forward to the tournament. Thank you all for your time, and look for an email from me later this morning. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you. Great job.